Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I predict that Europe is being pushed towards a self-destruction, which is a little genocide over there of certain kind of people who live in Europe. That's my assessment of what's going on in Europe, among other things, under the cloak of the evil Russians and evil Chinese and all these terms and people that we are supposed to hate because they tell us. So they wage a war in Ukraine using the Ukrainians. The problem is these criminals, and I'm not going to name who they are because you're going to figure it out easily if you don't know who they are. They don't care about nations or states. A clear example was, if you remember, Iraq, when that Madeleine Albright Stein, the then Secretary of State of the United States of America, said that it's a price worth paying to have 500,000 Iraqi children due to our sanctions. So these are criminals. They don't look at us as, they look at us pest, as flies. So what's going on here? I'm not crying for Transnistria. The point is I'm going to use Transnistria and what's going on in Transnistria right now. Transnistria being a little breakaway strip from Romania, from Moldova, if you want, from Bessarabia, who has about 900 Russian troops, peacekeeping troops, mind you, over there. So these guys try to commit, I think, an economic genocide on the people, human beings living in Transnistria, not military personnel, civilians. So if they didn't care about 500,000 Iraqi children, Madeleine Albright Stein, remember her? Okay. Then do you think they're going to care about how many hundreds are over there in Transnistria? No, they will not. They will not care about Europe either. So this transit of the Russian gas through Ukraine was ordered by these criminals using the Zelensky Stein in Ukraine, and that will damage countries, European countries, European nations, Europeans in Europe, and they think that this affects Russia. I will show you this being independent, Europeans being independent from the Russian gas is not hurting the Russians, as they claim. It's hurting the Europeans. And I will show you. The Russians thought 5 moves before these guys. These guys play checkers and the Russians play chess. I will show you. So this is the article I made on the 1st of January 2025. Ukraine / Zelensky Stein halts Russian gas transit to Europe. How Europeans are hurt by traitors in charge of them. And here in the thumbnail I said, who's running Europe's economic genocide? Some traitors celebrate. Go and watch this video. Ukraine, Zelensky Stein halts, Go and watch this video. Why? Because we're going to go with this one. They reveal that's a end game here. We're in the end game. Why Kyiv's blow to Russian gas threatens to divide Europe. I don't think it threatens to divide it. That's the first step. The second one is going to be the I think genocide against the Europeans, but hey, that's me right here, or at least people living in Europe currently. And I'm going to show you why this is not a Kyiv's blow. It's an American interest, or whomever is in charge of America, blow to the Europeans. Why? Because the Russians, if you're not familiar with this, Russia's mega gas pipeline to China complete. So these guys already thought years ahead of these baboons with their little end game, has threatened to divide Europe. And here's the evil Putin right there. So the Ukraine has these pipelines, and the Brotherhood shot on January 1st, and Sokranovka right here, this is inactive. Why? For the same reason. So gas pipelines. A victory hailed as one of Moscow's biggest defeats by Volodymyr Zelensky Stein. So this non-Ukrainian beats our European, mind you, right there, by hurting the Europeans. And we are supposed to hail it according to these traitors in the Telegraph. Now you make up your mind. Ukraine's president, no, the Ukrainian president, was not one on the battlefield. So they try to portray this as being a victory for all of us, because Zelensky risks his life being a better than you. You know, they're always better than us. Hollywood tells us. So he's risking his life for the Ukrainian people who are incapable of finding their own way, but they need a Zelensky style, Zmihal style, Reznikov style, and Yermak style to figure things out over there, together with Victoria Nuland-Stein and with Blinkenstein and with many others, Yellen-Stein and Mallorca-Stein, and I can go Schumer-Stein, I can go on and fucking on and on. All right, so this is what's going on. They think that we're going to destroy the Russians. You're not going to destroy the Russians. You're going to destroy Europeans. Europe will be by the American interest. I say Americans because they come from there, because those interests use the most powerful country in the world, economically, militarily, culturally, and so on. Culturally, all right, anyway, with ideas. They had good ideas, but these guys are dismantling those. Deconstruction theory, you know, deconstruction theory? The Frankfurt School guys, the same Zelensky Steins who create your sociology departments and they infested our universities. Yeah, go ahead and check them out. They fled the evil guys over there and they found employment here overnight. Why? As professors to American universities. Why was that? Well, who was in charge of some of them? The same people. Well, nevertheless, go and study the Frankfurt School. I super dare you. With Marcuse and all those aliens like me. All right, so what do we have here? They tell us that they will destroy right here the Russia's war machine with the expiry of the deal to use the pipeline for transit. Vladimir Putin's war machine was dealt a blow that will cost billions. It's $5 billion. That's what it's gonna be. At $5 billion somewhere here they said that. Where is that? I will show you. They said it's $5 billion. I don't have my glasses. I put my glasses on. It costs billions, but it's euros per year. Good for you. And in the meantime, right here, sales via the which is also known to be the Brotherhood pipeline, were thought to be worth up to $5 billion dollars per year to Gazprom. Okay, well, that's good for you. Good. But the Ukrainians will not make money for the transit. No, they will not make money. So, and then right here, you see this? These guys will be affected and further in. So, Russia mega pipeline to China. Why? China is going to develop, not Europe. Europe is an old warrior who can't fight anymore. Europe economy is based on consumption, not production. The production is made someone else. And these guys can tell you that we live in a post-industrial world and we live in a post-service world, whatever that is. That is consumption. You have to have things to survive. You have to have electricity, heating. You have to have things to produce. You need energy to produce. So who has the energy and who produces stuff is in charge. So if those guys stop producing for us and we don't give them paper money and numbers, we have to start producing. So the same. Do you hear anything about the farmers? Without the farmers, we starve. Again, they talk about the IT guys, the PhD, all these guys on the TV. They're the important ones. Without food, they're all dead. They don't even know how to probably plant tomatoes. But nevertheless, they are the experts. Remember how the pyramid is. The foundation, if that crumbles, everything else is zero. In one moment, you have to reevaluate. So the Russian says, you know what? Okay, Europe is a consumption-based society, obviously. What do they produce? This much. I can't give you a percentage how much they import, like done, built things. What are they going to do? It's like an old lady dying in the bed. Nobody wants to her anymore. China is. The East is. The countries, the developing countries, because you can develop them. These guys are rotten. So yes, they're not going to have energy. Who's going to give them energy? Al Capone. And do you think Al Capone will come over there to save the day? Remember how Al Capone saved the day with the Marshall Plan? You know, you're supposed to, and did some good things for the Americans and for the Europeans, for some. After they destroyed one another greatly at the orders of crazies, okay, that's how we're supposed to think about it. After they did that, the American interests came and they bought for nothing industries and then they owned them. That's how it was the Marshall Plan. Investments, fantastic, very good. Now, if you compare the Marshall Plan with how much Zelensky was given in real money, you're going to find out the Marshall Plan is just zero goddamn shit. All right? But nevertheless, so the Russians already look into East, not to Germany, France, and these guys that don't know to do anything but talk shit nowadays. Construction of the East Route natural gas pipeline has been finalized, according to its operator. This article is from the 20th of November 2024. Construction of the East Route mega pipeline to supply Russian natural gas from Siberia to eastern China has been completed. So you think that those $5 billion, yes, it helps, but you think that that five it destroyed the war machine, my friends? Where's that little garbage? Right here. And Vladimir Zelensky beats the European Putin, well, not on the battlefield, man. Right there, it destroys the war machine. Putin's war machine is dealt blow that costs billions of dollars a year. How much do you think this will make? Let's see. According to the report, so let's go. Construction of the East Route mega pipeline to supply Russian gas from Siberia to eastern China has been completed, reported this week, citing the project's operator. According to the new report, the 5,111-kilometer cross-border pipeline is now entering its final commissioning phase and will soon be fully operational. All right. Once fully operational, the pipeline will supply 38 billion cubic meters of natural gas per year, enough to meet the annual gas demands of 130 million urban households. This is just the beginning, my friends. Right here, the East Route was partially launched in December 2019. These guys move fast. They produce, what do we produce? Stupidity. Becoming the first pipeline to supply Russian gas to China. The route is part of a $400 billion, man. We in America don't even have high-speed trains. We don't have high-speed trains, but these guys have hundreds of them. Even Russia has them. 30-year agreement between Russia and Gazprom and China's National Petroleum Corporation. You got it, my friends? So if you think that that's a blow, yeah, it is one over there. But these guys are thinking big. Those guys are dying customers. They will not have anything. They will come and beg the Russians because they're going to get bankrupt, paying 3 times to 4 times for American liquefied natural gas. Why? Because those guys in the west of Europe, which is United States of America, Northwest, they said, you're going to impose sanctions on Russia, which is you actually. You're not going to import cheap Russian natural gas. We're going to give you that 3 to 4 times more expensive, mind you. And by the way, it's by ship, not by pipeline. And besides, you know what's going to happen? We're going to come and help you, like we helped you with a Marshall Plan. And they did, and they sanctioned themselves, not the Russians. It's like someone in the name of the good, supposedly. If that would be the case, it would be a different story, but it's not like that. I'm not convinced these are the forces of good. So nevertheless, let's go and see how Transnistria is destroyed economically. I think there's a genocide over there, like in Gaza. Why Gaza? If you have a country or a location, a city, and you are able to turn the water off, the electricity off overnight, just to hurt some people over there, how do you call that? Civilians are hurt. That's exactly what those guys did in Gaza. It's not me saying that just because I pull it out of my ass. Go and check it out. In the first few days, remember, human animals, the former, Gallant was his name, defense minister of the self-defense state. Remember that one? Okay, all right. Breakaway Transnistria region has enough electricity to produce food only. That's it. Not heat. It's December, mind you. Reuters says the suspension of Russian gas supplies to the unrecognized Republic of Transnistria in Moldova has resulted in why is it a suspension? Whose fault is it? We can say that. The region, home to approximately 450,000 people, was severely affected immediately after Russian gas supplies to Central and Eastern Europe via Ukraine were cut off. So you see, they don't name the names. The supplies were cut off. By whom? We don't know. Okay, right here. The gas supplies to the Republic has resulted the suspension. Who did this? These guys did. These guys did with their victorious Zelensky stand against our European guy, bad as he is. Got it? And these guys are saying, no, my friends, we're not going to be with you. We have this guy already ready. So let's see. All industrial facilities shut down in Breakaway Transnistria region. Map of Moldova. Where is this happening? This is Moldova. This is the Babuinstein right here. This is Ukraine. This is Ukraine. Now, I'm going to show you a different map. Ukraine here, just to understand. This is Romania here. This is the country of Moldova. And Transnistria is this little strip tease right here, okay? And this, where see my strong hand? This is northern Bukovina. This is Basarabia. All the way here. All the way. So this was Romania until Stalin in 1980s sent these baboons in Bucharest an ultimatum, and they say, okay, we're going to give you my mom, my kid, my whomever, just leave me alone. And Stalin said, okay. So he took all this. This is called Basarabia right here. Basarabia, this is Bukovina. Northern Bukovina, southern Bukovina. Chernouts is right here. So the Stalin guy, the Georgian guy, Djugashvili, remember that's his name, not Stalin, man of steel, took this part of Romania, which was part of Romania, gave it to the Ukrainians, took this part of Romania, which was North Bukovina, gave it to the Ukrainians, and then we have this little part here with a lot of Russians nowadays. So this is where Moldova is, and this is the Transnistria. Tiraspol is the capital, Chisinau is the other ones. Now, this is what's going on. These guys will be, 450,000 people, will be, I say, genocide committed on them by whom? Right there. European Commission reveals how Russian gas supplied through Ukraine was replaced. So don't worry. You know how? I tell you. They will say the Americans come with liquefied natural gas and they have pipelines ready to whatever send it through their ports of entry. So it's the Americans are going to come. But we have this smart woman called Maria Zakharova who tells us exactly what I said right here. And that is Russia reveals real culprits behind gas flow blockade through Ukraine. And is, let's see, Moscow considers Washington and Kyiv to be responsible for a halt in Russian gas flow to Europe through Ukraine. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova said on Thursday, and I'm quoting, the responsibility for the termination of Russian gas supplies lies entirely with the United States, the puppet regime in Kyiv, and the authorities of the European states, which sacrifice the well-being of their citizens for the sake of supporting the American economy financially. You got it? I 100% believe in that. My assessment is the same. And this is what she said. The cessation of supplies of competitive and environmentally friendly Russian energy not only weakens Europe's economic potential, but also has the most negative impact on the standard of living of European citizens. You understand what it is? You guys are going to have a shitty life, shittier life, and your family, your children. Why? Because they tell you the evil Russians want to destroy your life, your values, your family, that they want to destroy through their culture indoctrination. They're against it, but now they tell you, we are all for it, we're going to defend our way of life. What's the way of life exactly? The one that you want to impose on us with yellow hair and with snipped balls? Is that what it is? Yes. Fuck off. Anyway, so this is what it is, my friends. It's exactly like that. The American interest, through the United States of America's power, make the baboons in Europe themselves, using a puppet regime in Kiev with a Zelensky Stein. It's very curious that it's these guys in charge. It's not Romanians in charge of Ukraine. It's not, I don't know, some French people or some Kazakhs or something. It's these guys. Why? Is it because this hatred against Putin's Russia? Because they were kicked out? Is that? Because they were very high, if you remember, since 1918 with a Bolshevik revolution that hijacked the Russian Revolution. Remember that one? With Trotsky, Mr. Bronstein and others, Stalin, non-Russian, Lenin, non-Russian. Lenin, his name is what? What's his name? Ulyanov. And Ulyanov, look how much Russian he's got in it. How much, I was about to say, I have in me. Right? So, I'm going to just refer you to a little study, and I'm done with this. Right? It was the British government, after the Bolshevik Revolution was successful and pumped money from New York and other locations. Why New York? Mr. Bronstein went to his brothers in New York banks and got some money. Anyway, all right. So then the British government sent a guy in St. Petersburg to see the Russian revolutionaries. And he wrote his report and brought it back, I don't know, 1920, I think, something like this. And he said that the so-called Russian Revolution, talking about the Bolshevik Revolution, is not much Russian at all. He said about 80% of the Russian leaders of the Bolshevik revolutions are not Russians. I want you as a homework to go over there and check that out. Well, who told me that? Well, it's a guy named Dr. William. That's how I heard for the first time this information. Well, he died in 2003, 2004. I can't give you too much details because he's a bad dude. So if bad people tell you the truth, you still are supposed to, I don't want to hear it. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.